Hi guys, and welcome back to PJ Maybe's Judge Dredd stream with the great Rabbi from another planet. Hi, Rabbi.
Just let me out the old ISO cube. I've done my time. You know, I'm ready to go straight, Cov. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
it's all a fit up.
You've been judged.
Yes. I love those stuff. There. Is that me or is that you? 1 second.
Yeah.
I think that might be. Do you hear an echo?
No, I'm not hearing an echo. You hearing an echo?
Oh, not anymore. It's gone.
I was worried that I didn't. I would have had to put my headphones on. That's when I actually go into sensory deprivation, and my wife says I shout because I can't hear my own voice, so I have to put it out there.
Yeah, I don't really have an indoor voice. I'm downstairs in my basement.
See, I'm at the back of the house in my man cave, so as long as it's got my TARDIS door. I have finally got the TARDIS door the same as you. In the back.
Very nice.
I've got it in the inside as well, similar to yourself.
There you go. Think Geek, I think it came from. They used to be great, but
yes,
no more, I'm afraid.
I know. I got it. I think I got it in eBay. But the one thing I still want is that Star Trek communicator doorbell. That thing.
Yeah. That these are hard. I'm glad. Okay, here's a piece of advice, kids. Okay, when you see something you want, and if it's within your means, get it there. Never. I'll give you an example. My parents one time were on vacation in Florida, and they were in a antique store, and there was it was like the most racist thing they've ever seen in their life, which was a game. God, it's so rare. I wish I didn't even take a picture. They were so embarrassed of a black man with his mouth open, right? And the game was called "Throw the Ball into the Darkie's Mouth," right? Like written on it, like literally. Yeah. And I wish they bought it. Because, you're never going to see that again, are you? That's gone. That's gone for... But, I saw that thing, Geek, or this thing, and I was like, this is...
I couldn't get one. I would like to have had one for my light switch, but my light switch is just a sticker that says missile launch.
No, there you go. That'll do the trick.
That'll do the trick, but it's not as good as the Star Trek one.
No, the Star Trek one's good. It's even better when you actually have it because it's like it's really well made.
Yeah,
it's a very good piece of merchandise.
Excellent. I would like to get a Judge Dredd one. I think I'm actually getting an echo.
I think you're getting it from when I speak.
No, I'm getting it when I speak. I can hear it.
All right.
So I'm just double checking. There's nothing in my system. It's like me because I can hear it when I speak. I'm not hearing it anymore. It's weird.
Well, there you
go. Maybe I'm just actually occasionally when my decibels hit too much. I just
or maybe you've taken LSD. Have you taken LSD recently?
No recently.
Right? Well, would you remember?
No, that I can remember. Yes. So, Rabbi, Judge Dredd. When did you start reading it?
I think Prog 263, 264. It was the iconic Dredd badge with the blood dribbling out of it. Apocalypse War issue.
That's with the blood, the bullet hole.
Yeah. So that was my first Prog of 2008. I got it on the way to school. Wanted to check it out. I wasn't really a big reader. Loved it. Man, did I love it. I like instantly just took to it straight away. I got the back issues really quickly with the Apocalypse War. I started going to the comic marts in London, and that's when you could get all the back issues cheap. They didn't have reprints then, right? They were just starting, and also with the back issues, you got all like these great little backup strips that you never like that they keep rehashing now. Like Fiends of the Eastern Front was this little curio. They should have just left, They want to do something new with it. It's fine. Give it a different name. But I love that it was just its own little thing, right? Same with the VCs.
I love the VCs. I love the VCs.
Right. But I just the insanely rich world is always interesting. I wish there was more of it. That's the thing. I wish there was like a good Judge Dredd VR experience in game or something.
Yes,
I love that universe. It's incredible. It's
do you know
it
what
never fails to amuse me.
Do you know one part of the universe I love and I've not seen a lot of? It is
Roadbusters, yes, a weird crossover. They mention it that they're off to build Mega City 1, that big new city.
Yes, and I loved Roadbusters. And when it did the crossover with Judge Dredd, but then again, they're all the stories within 2000 AD seem to have a crossover. They all seem to be in the same universe because you had Johnny Alpha with Judge Dredd.
Right. You have that overtly, but it is the thing. If they did a 2000 AD cinematic universe, they wouldn't have to have them cross over. Or just have to have a similar vibe, right? You'd just have like okay, your first wave 2000 AD cinematic universe would not be Judge Dredd. It would be like either Bad Company or Road Trooper, some kind of future war thing.
I would say Road Trooper, yes.
They're making a Road Trooper apparently. Slane, do a Slane movie, and then do like a
But see, yes, you can go back. You could start with Slane. I was never or go back and do Flesh.
Oh, and a Flesh movie. Okay, all those three movies, right? And on the same time at TV, do a Mega City 1 TV show, and have the pilot episode have Dredd in it, right? And then Dredd not in it. Like, have it like Precinct 61. Well, that one was in the pit, right? That he was in. Have him in the initial, like, 2-hour pilot. And then have it just, like, the Tales of Mega City 1.
Yeah, and I know a perfect way of doing it. It introduces the characters, it introduces the judges, it introduces how the judges are set up.
Right, exactly. And then...
Have a hot dog run. That way, Dredd would be the judge that leads the hot dog run, and he's quizzing the rookies.
Although, you know what? I'm going to push back against that. You know why? They always go when they ever do a movie, they always go to the cursed earth because it's the cheapest thing to do.
Yes, but as an introductory one, it introduces it without having to have big sets. They introduce the characters. They introduce the world because these rookie judges are halfway to being judges, so they can still test them. Why do we do this? Why do we do that?
Whatever they do, it's got to have full shoulder pad and eagle, right?
Yes.
Judge Minty, right? Judge Minty is the gold standard.
Judge Minty is definitely the way to go. It should.
Right. Have it look like and Greg Staples as Judge Dredd was perfect. Quite frankly, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. The thing is, right, see the two movies that have been out. Sylvester Stallone, there was good and bad. A lot more bad than good, but...
I liked it. I liked everything apart from the costume.
The only part of the costume I didn't like was the codpiece. The rest of it...
No, the whole costume in general, I thought... But, I mean, it was a bit silly. I liked everything else. I liked Mega City 1. I loved the Hammerstein.
Yes, you had the ABC Warrior, you had the Block War, you had the Angel Gang.
They were great. Angel Gang was great in it.
Rico, it just wasn't Rico to me. You know what it was?
It was done well. The whole thing, I think, basically was done well. I liked the design of it. Yeah. I liked they had a lot of good. All the minor characters were all great actors. All these great British actors that you see and stuff.
Yeah, the only one I didn't like was Fergie. Rod Snyder. Fergie.
Fergie. Yeah, well, he was certainly a long way from the comic book, wasn't he?
Yes, he was a long way. But he's always been. This is a lot of the stuff he's in. He's comic relief. The only movie
they met on Demolition Man. They got on. Yeah. That's exactly. It was based. This was for Stallone. This was his follow-up to Demolition Man,
which was a really good movie.
I really like Demolition Man.
Yes.
The best bit of Demolition Man is where at the beginning, where he's carrying out this little girl, right? And the robot says, "Demolition Man, you just destroyed a $17 million mall to save one little girl. Do you think it was worth it?" And the kid goes, "Fuck you, sister."
The best one about Demolition Man was Huxley constantly getting the sayings from the 20th century wrong.
Right. Don't think about the three seashells. It's a mystery that will never be solved.
But it was things like she would do the Jackie Chan stuff. She would say the sayings because she was interested in the TV show. She would say things like, "Let's go and blow him." He would say, "Blow him away."
Blow him away. He's going to blow this guy.
Basically, almost a case of finish the sentence because it's a completely different sentence when you do it. But there was a lot in it I loved. I must admit, Mega City was the big thing for me within the Judge Dredd movie. That was
really worked. Really worked.
The Lawmaster.
Also good. I would say, actually, it worked better in the Stallone one. Way better in the Stallone one than in the...
yeah, I was this keen on the Lawmaster and the Dredd 3D.
Right.
And in both of them, I was not as keen on the Lawgiver. To me...
Yeah, they never get it right? They never get it right.
That's
you got the right one. You got the Carlos Squeezer one.
The Mark
That's
one.
the only one worth getting.
That is the only one, and I wish they had actually done something like that. I don't care if it would have the extra magazine at the top, whatever. But that's the Mark one, and that's the only one for me.
I mean, honestly, I like the design of the Mark II. But it's just not as iconic, right?
It's. I can understand where they were going with it. They wanted it to be less futuristic, more gun-like.
Right? However, I think they wanted to be more Nerf gun. That's basically what it was.
And they didn't want to actually have to have constantly flicking the dial. They just wanted it to be hotshot and all that. And
it's voice active. I didn't know that. I thought they just didn't mention the dial. They just did it without saying.
Oh, see, if you look at it, the dial's on it, but they never touch it. All he does is constantly hold it up, says it, and then fires. It implies it's because the part for the dial's there. It doesn't mention the dial, so it sort of implies it just doesn't say it. Whereas in the Dredd 3D, you see it hotshot and all that. It does that.
Right. Okay, my favorite Dredd saying his weapon as he was using it was when he was fighting. What was it this big furry guy drawn by Steve Dillon? This big bear thing. He shoves his knife in the neck, and for some reason he always says boot knife as he usually goes boot knife into his neck. But I love the way he always says boot knife, as he uses it. Yeah, boot knife. What was it? Big Finish, I have the audios. They're pretty good. Big Finish, I have done quite a few Dredd audios with Toby Longworth in the title role. Yeah, no, they're good.
I have got a few. I've also got one or two from Audible as well. I do like the Judge Dredd stuff. Like listening to them in the car because I
haven't heard any of the new ones yet. They did The Pit, and they did another one on Audible.
I can't remember. They did the year one.
Yeah, no, but that was a book and tape. No, it's a full cast, like audio drama. They did The Pit.
No. It's usually the books. It's I very rarely get the plays. I must admit.
I'll find it. I'll put it up.
Yeah, I normally do like just reading. Listening to the books. I don't read anymore. I'm getting too old and I can't be bothered constantly changing my glasses. I've got one for driving and one for reading, and I don't wear them when I'm using the computer because of the distance. So I feel as if I'm constantly going, whoop, different glasses.
Yeah, this is the sort of fun you got to look forward to when you get old, kids.
Yes, you're not kidding.
There you go.
Like a t-shirt. Got it at a Comic-Con a few years back. I love my Judge Dredd comic.
I'm just trying to remember my login. What is my login to Audible? It's hello at Biblical Comics.
Well, see, when we were saying, I started, believe it or not, reading Judge Dredd or 2000 AD from issue 4.
Oh wow! You had him when they hadn't even really worked out what he looked like.
Yes, and even because it first appeared in issue 2. I saw issue 1, 2, and 3, but being a 12-year-old kid that didn't have a lot of pocket money, I couldn't afford them, and I talked my sister's then boyfriend into getting me a copy of issue 4. My brother-in-law John.
Wow! But he didn't even get any stickers or space spinner on that one.
No, you got the decoder.
Oh, you still okay? That was still going. I forgot.
That was the decoder. I think issue 4 was the decoder. I'm sure it was issue 4 was the decoder. That was the one I got. I'm sure it was.
I'm just sharing a screen with you right now. This is the new Audible one. Yeah, they have. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't. America,
and so I'm like, oh, it's gonna be, might be a bit woke. America and the Pit.
As in America.
Oh, yeah, exactly like that. But you know they're gonna make it.
Yes.
You know what they're gonna do. Oh. Yeah. It's going to be Lecture City.
Yes, it is. And that's the worst thing I think about a lot of them when they do the plays. At least the book, you're usually getting the book and the author's just reading the book. When they start doing the plays, I always have a worry that they're going to mess around with it because they're going to update it. So even if you've actually had one, it had a good play, when they play it again, they're not going to play it again, Sam. They're going to change it.
Yeah, listen, but I just don't make things relevant, right? They're going to updating Jessica Rabbit to make her more relevant. I mean, really, she's supposed to be sexy. Like, okay, Judge Anderson, I understand she's old now. Whenever they have get her in a TV thing or a movie, she's got to be sexy. Okay, that's that. She's a kick-ass judge. She can do all that stuff. She'll also say they can have her in heels.
Linda Carter now playing her an older.
Well, yeah, but again, I want young, sexy Judge Anderson. Okay,
yeah, if they have to go down the route, they want an older senior judges like Judge Dredd and Judge Anderson, older. Then it still has to be someone like that because I was never a great big Anderson fan. I did like her, but to me, he's the man. That was the only one. Hershey was more my style.
I remember when they introduced Hershey. That was on a hot dog run.
And I just love it. And that was one of the good things in the Sylvester Stallone movie was the Hershey stance at the end.
Right. Yeah. Who was Hershey in that? Who played Hershey? I can't remember.
Wait a minute. I've got that somewhere. Hershey was Diane Lane.
Right. I knew it was somebody famous.
Yeah. And she was just superb in it. I think they even had things like, and see, the thing is with the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd one, it's almost like they went through all the comics and says, we want that, we want that, we want that, we want that, we want that. And they just didn't stop saying it. So you had Judge Silver, you had Judge, what do you call her?
Griffin was in it.
You had Judge Fargo, it was almost like we want to have everything in. So you need Angel Gang, you need an ABC Warrior, you need Block Ward, you need that. And there was too much in it for that. They were doing a story for each of them rather than all together. And which was unfortunate because every time I saw a judge, I thought, oh, Magruder. And then she was gone. It just shot her.
Oh yeah. You know what it was kind of like? Did you ever see the Doctor Who script from the movie they wanted to make in the 90s?
What one?
It was just like all the stuff. It was a very 90s movie. That Judge Dredd movie.
Yeah, it was. There's no denying it that it was a very 90s Sylvester Stallone vehicle.
Yeah, right.
Because it was meant to be different until Sylvester Stallone got it, and then they changed that up.
Oh, was it?
Because it became more of a because see, when in the comic books, when they were talking about the movie, they were showing the judge, and the judge was dressed like Judge Minty, and you didn't know who it was. They weren't going to tell you who was cast, because I think they were actually going for an unknown, because they didn't want someone famous who would want their face out there. This is the very early on when they had actually bought the rights to it. So 2000 AD started saying there's going to be a movie being made, the rights have been bought, this is what it's going to look like, and we're not telling you who's going to be the star, because it's not going to be a star. Big star.
I remember, when was it? It was the late 80s, right? It was in London at the Trocadero. There was something going on, but they had a guy there in a Judge Dredd costume, like the best Judge Dredd costume I've ever seen. It was like this, they put a ton of money into it, and I was like, yeah, and it was he was like very much. It was kind of a thing for a little bit in the night. This must be the late 80s, right?
Yeah, I was
about 18, 19.
There was a program on as well. It had a Judge Dredd cameo in it. Because the two Judge Dredds, there was a Judge Dredd, an American, not talk show host, but an American, I think it was one of these judges on something. He was called Judge Dredd. So they had him.
Well, there's a rapper.
Judge Dredd. It could have been, I can't remember. It was just, and then they had the Judge Dredd in. So the two Judge Dredds were talking to him. And Danny John Jules was in it. It was all about Danny John Jules. It was him imagining being a big star, and they had these different people. So it could have been Judge Dredd, the rapper, and then they had Judge Dredd come in. It's been on YouTube. I posted it a couple of weeks back. Somebody had actually mentioned it, and I'd found it, and it'd been sent.
I'll go look at the channel.
I'll need to find
it. Everybody's watching. Subscribe. You should tell people to do that. Then you get these little gems.
Yes, I will definitely subscribe. Give it a thumbs up, and we're always looking at stuff that nobody else looks at. Yes, I know everybody talks about Judge Dredd and stuff like that, but we love it. Honest.
Oh, we do love it. Archie Connor out there mentions Judge Giant. Judge Giant was another great crossover.
I love Judge Giant.
The Harlem Heroes.
Yes, I love the part where...
okay, whoa. Hold the front page. That's your first wave of 2000 AD is 2000 Cinematic Universe. Harlem Heroes, Bad Company, and Slain. Those three movies, right? That's your phase one. At the same time, you do a TV show like Mega City 1, like the whatever it was in the pit, like Sector House 21.
And the Mega City 1,
and have the first episode have Judge Dredd.
Yeah, you could split it up, because you could have something even focusing on Max Normal. You could have something focusing on.
There's so much scope. Much scope.
Exactly. The Ape Gang, you could have so much. But see, the Judge Giant one I remember was when he was getting, he was going through his final assessment with Dredd.
Yes.
His father and mother were the ones that behind it all. And he's going, you need to tell us who they're in 10, 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, 18 years. And he goes, okay, finally. And he says, was he a pass? He says, he jailed his mum and dad for 18 years. Yeah, he's a pass.
yeah. Then he met his end by Judge Orlock, wasn't it? Talking about
Rebecca Gold. Mine's honest.
Was it Judge Giant? He ended up getting killed by Sov Judge Orlock, wasn't he?
That was basically the prelim to the Apocalypse War.
Yeah. I love the Apocalypse War. That's still my favorite bit.
And you think about it, the Apocalypse War was it was so iconic because it started off with the Block War series.
Right. Like,
and then it just...
But it was the early 80s. That was the thing that made it crazy.
A build-up. You had the Block War, which is a great story on its own, which went on to the Footsie one. Well, it was actually the Footsie one, which led to the Block War because it was in the drinking water. It caused the Block War. Then it went on to the Apocalypse. It was just a build up, right up until
the end of Block War when they got I think either was it Steve Dillon or Brian Boland on the art, right? And he's fighting all in the water in the reservoir, right? And he doses him with Block War. He's like, I'm fighting with Rowdy Yates. Like I think is that Brian Boland? And just when they give him the cure, right? And say we sold it, but it's too late.
It was basically the
judges. What a great ending!
It was the judges get him. You okay, Dredd? He says, yeah. The only thing I need to know is I'm fighting for Rowdy Yates. Who are you fighting for? Oh! that was just a fantastic story. Just the way it was actually just a build up, a bit by bit by bit. And they did that so many times. One of my favourite stories was technically not a Judge Dredd story in 2000 AD. It was the Dead Man. You remember that story? The man who woke the dead man.
Oh, Dead Man! It turned out at the end to be Dredd. That was a good brilliant, wasn't it?
That was a good one because you didn't know who it was at the beginning, and then just gradually wee bits, and then you had the two sisters who were after him.
Right. And he did, yeah. See, okay, this is something I love about the Dredd universe, right? Yeah. I love, like, they get the sci-fi freaking perfect. I love the sci-fi. It's exactly the right... your background right now is the level of sci-fi I love. But then they add in horror into it, in a really cool sci-fi way. And it's such a great fusion. It really, really, really works.
Yeah. It's basically just the way they actually used to build on it. You look at even their Western towns. They're starting about with blasters and everything, but it was a total Western you were watching.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was kind of fun in Origins when he goes into the cursed earth and he meets his clan and they all got like these like muty chins, right? Remember?
Yeah, and even things like one of my favourite stories is Cursed Earth.
There you go. What's that one again?
That is
Hell Trekkers, right? Hell Trekkers.
Yeah, and it was the thing is 2000 AD didn't even publish them. They've got 2000 on it, but it doesn't say 2000 AD. Neither it does. Because obviously it was a I can't remember who did it, but it's from the story because obviously first page of the Cursed Earth, there's the track in it. But even that story going through, you've got the McDonald's and the KFC, the Burger King war. It was just the build up of them going through the Cursed Earth, and you're sitting there thinking, this is just so crazy. It is hilariously funny. It was.
Did they ever do anything with those Fargo clones that went to Texas City? Did they ever turn up again somehow? I can't remember.
They should have. So.
They really should have.
They may have now. Because you had the Texas City a couple of times because they went to Vegas and it turned out it was the judges there were very Texas City judges.
Right. Exactly.
The Vegas
so there is still Texas City though, because Mega City 2's gone.
Mega City 2's gone. Texas City is still there. East Meg 1 is gone. I think East Meg 2 is still there.
I mean, Texas City is probably in better shape than Mega City 1.
Probably because Mega City 1 was always the main target. Then you've got Britsit, which has got the Cal Zone. Not a Cal Zone, the Cal Hab.
Cal Hab.
Yeah, Cal Hab, not a Cal Zone. That's a different thing. That's the Italians.
Yeah, but Britsit has to be smaller than Mega City 1. Cal from Mega City 1
even if Britsit covered the complete and utter British Isles, it wouldn't even be a fraction of Britsit of Mega City 1. It wouldn't even be a sector. It wouldn't even be a sector considering the size. Mega City 1 goes right down the whole coast.
And of course, there's the Pan Africans. There's Hondo Sit.
Yeah, there's Oz Zone.
Oh right. Oh, okay. That was one of my favorite mega epics as well. Oz.
Yeah.
Freaking love Chopper.
Chopper, I love Chopper. I must admit, I love the Chopper story with the Chopper and the Phantom.
The latest regened episode. I'm sorry, I'll go back to that. The latest regened episode had a Chopper story in it. I absolutely hate it. Did you read it?
No.
Oh, so awful. It's okay. You know what's great about Chopper is he struggled and he grew and he became a real character, right? And it was really about his struggle and to overcome and do incredible things, right? That's why, he was the best wall scrawler, right? He was, and he just wanted, and that drove him. So now in this strip, he was given the board by a stunning, brave black girl, obviously, and he was brilliant at it with no effort because he's Chopper.
Yeah, which was, I love Chopper when he was basically the scrawler against the Phantom.
Right.
And
was a droid, right?
It was Max Normal. Was the pinstripe suited dude. So it was.
Right. No, but no, the Phantom was a droid, wasn't he?
The Phantom was a droid. It was a painting droid. He just wanted something more. Ended up because he knew he would get reprogrammed, he just launched himself off the Statue of Judgment with spray can going, and that was it. There is also somebody. Where is it? The Irish judges. Where's the Irish one?
Oh, Emerald Isle.
The Emerald Isle one. Aye. Because there was also a city and island. Yeah, because the judge, you've got the picture of the judge, he's all in green with a Guinness in his hand. And
basically, there's a mega city wherever a writer wants to do a Judge Dredd, right? But that's essentially where it is. Whenever somebody wants to do a commentary about their homeland, there is a mega city. That's how it works.
See, I think the Irish one was a part of a zone in the Brit Sit. So it was.
Oh, the Scottish one, Cowhab zone.
The Scottish one was Cowhab zone, and then the Irish one, all the judges were in green and white, and they were a lot more.
Right, it was independent from Britsit.
Yeah, but it was actually part of it, but it was like the city had about a boundary, as it were. Same idea as Southern Ireland at the moment. Is basically there's no hard border, but there's a border. And I think,
listen. If I'm living in the Judge Dredd universe, I want to live in Oz. Okay, clearly the nicest of the mega cities.
Yeah, but with any rad effects down there, I don't want to see those spiders.
Well, again, I'm just staying indoors, mate. I'm staying indoors. I'll let Judge Bruce sort it out. Okay. Yeah. I'll just have my rad rat on the Barbie.
Yes, I'll actually stick with Cowhab. So I will.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? What?
Hey, I'll be nearly normal. My face is up the right way. Like, this is my hair.
No, you want to be like a sub-zero nuclear waste zone. Okay, that's not good.
Hey, sorry, I already live in that. I live in Scotland.
That's even worse.
There's no difference between the comic book and real life. Believe me, especially
exactly. Yes. No. I like a bit of good weather, mate.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I don't mind. I'm a rain-soaked man, so I'm okay with the Scottish weather.
I'm not a fan of the rain.
Yeah, as I say with the Scottish weather, you don't like it, hang around 20 minutes. It's sure to change. So that's
hang around 20 minutes and have an iron brew and fry a Mars bar. There you go.
I've got plenty. Did you see my wee video skit? Me doing there. I'm sitting there with all my iron brew behind me, piled high. I haven't, but
it makes sense.
I made a meme out of myself drinking iron brew because I drink a lot, shall we say?
Well, I like it. what actually is Iron Brew? How would you describe it? What type of soda is it?
Now you're thinking. That'd be like asking, what is Tizer?
Tizer. Okay, Tizer is like, you know, that like really insanely sweet penny candy made into a fizzy drink. That's essentially Tizer.
Iron Brew is a syrupy fizzy drink. I like the diet because I'm not as keen on the syrupy side of it, but I do love the taste.
Do they make a diet Iron Brew?
That is the diet I'm drinking.
There you go. There you go.
It's the diet one I'm drinking because the other one I find a wee bit too syrupy even for me. And I'm diabetic and I'm not allowed it, but I drink a lot of diet Iron Brew.
There you go.
I keep getting shouted at because although there's no sugar in it, a can of Iron Brew has got the same caffeine as 7 espresso coffees.
Well, there you go.
And that's only a can, and I drink about 2 liters a day, so that's about 42 cups of coffee I drink.
And listen, not that I recommend this, but if you do an Iron Brew and 2 lines of Coke, that could be a good evening right there. Don't do that, kid.
I don't even drink Coke, never mind anything else with Coke.
Thankfully, I could never really afford it. So one of the many vices I was saved from.
Yeah. And when Dolly's right, Iron Brew, the elixir of life. Bars Iron Brew, made in Scotland from girders. That was the advert.
PK Maybe's channel, brought to you by Iron Brew.
I've been trying to get them to sponsor me from day one. It's not working.
It's not a bad idea. They really should. What if Tizer came and tried to sponsor you? Would you be like, okay, screw you, Iron Brew, Tizer, I'm here.
No.
I'll seduce for the Tizer money.
I see. Unfortunately, I can't drink anything else. Everything else just tastes meh. If I have to drink even things like Coca-Cola, I'll have a wee bit. Don't touch it. Anywhere I go, it's Iron Brew.
So what you have to do is you'd have to empty out the Tizer bottles and fill it with Iron Brew. And paint the inside of the bottle orange or pink, so it would look like, you know, you look
what
like
they used to
color.
do with the sponsors of the footballers. They didn't want to change their boots, so they would draw 3 white lines down their football boots and sponsor them by. And I know that used to happen.
There you go.
So they wouldn't wear a but they would paint them to look.
So I'm just wondering what was a more recent mega epic? What was the last one they did? I mean, Day of Chaos, but yeah, they've done.
I'm trying to remember.
They had that Texas City thing, and
the other one I liked, I must admit, which to me is a fairly newish one. Where is it? Was Machismo.
That's a great. That you think that okay, dude. You think that's recent because you got it when it came out, and that's like 30 years old.
Well, I suppose so. Maybe it's because I'm getting that old. Basically,
no, dude, it happens. Look, it happens to all of us. But yeah. Because it happened in the 90s doesn't mean it's recent.
Yeah, well, I suppose for me, being a classic man, I keep on saying I'm not old, I'm classic because I don't really watch anything newish nowadays. Very rarely have I watched something new I liked. Actually, the last thing I watched was a recommendation by one of my chatters, as it were, was Boss Level.
What was that? I've heard of that.
That is fun. It's a Groundhog Day. Just imagine John Wick and Groundhog Day. It's what it's like. It is fun. I'm going over the list of mega epics on Wikipedia right now. What's this one? Harvey and Machine Law.
Harvey was. Right.
Okay,
fine. So this was when the new chief judge had taken over, and it was. He wanted that now. A machine judges were kosher, essentially.
What was the one that was it? They did the one called, was it Edward? Or it was basically about Edward Death, who turned into Judge Death.
That was
his life story.
His story.
Yeah.
And
but see, every time I read that, all I remembered was Alan Bastard. every time I read it when it was death. I just
listen, they did it as a joke, and it became part of like canon.
Yes,
you know, I love Dead World. I think that whole was it KW series. They just put out the 3rd volume. Absolutely, I mean, I just adore that. I think it's one of the best things in 2000 AD today. Quite frankly,
yeah. I must admit, I've not read a 2000 AD comic for a while. I've been watching yours while you've been reviewing the comics, and I must admit, there's a couple of times I'm thinking, oh, I might pick that one up, but then I realise that I'm probably going to be halfway through a story and stuff like that. It's only because nowadays I like buying the complete collections. So I will pick up my Judge Dredd, same idea as I've done the Robusters. I've got a load of them sitting in my bottom shelf, and I do like the complete collections, just for the simple fact is space is at a premium in my room.
I hear. Listen, I got the what was it, the Mega Collection, the part work. That's fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. And I was not tempted in any way to get the 2000 AD one, because I looked at it, I'm like, oh, most of these things I don't want, and anything I want, I'll just buy the like I wouldn't mind the Rogue Trooper one. There was like out of the 100 ones, there was like 10 or 15 I wanted. I'm like, yeah, okay. Everything else.
That was the one with the picture as the binder. Yes.
I'm sorry?
Is that the one that all the binders make up a picture?
Yeah, one second. Here, let me see if I can get it on camera. Yeah, you can just see it up there.
Yes. I've got about 20 of them, because I just decided I'm just getting the ones that I want rather than
the reason I like the collection is I got a bunch of stuff that I would never buy normally and read normally. Like, what's that one? Insurrection. Really enjoyed that. Love that art. It was a really interesting little story.
Yeah. See, that's the thing as well. I suppose I've missed out because I went for the ones that the ones that I liked and ones that looked along the similar lines. So I suppose I've actually restricted myself with that. Whereas the complete collections, the big thick books, I've got a number of them, which are fun because I could just sit and just go through multiple stories. Plus, I've got the wee individual booklets, the Cursed Earth one, which is superb. And as I said, well.
So I was just looking at the Wikipedia. I never read this story. He's apparently in 2016 he 72-year-old Judge Dredd underwent a rejuve treatment. Do you remember that? I don't remember that.
No. But the thing is, I know the thing is with Judge Dredd, which a lot of people forget, is he ages as the comic ages.
Right. Yeah. But I think they rejuved him twice. That's cool. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, I like that one. But I've seen the Batman.
My favorite crossover is the Batman Judge Dredd. They always have good artwork on them. Do interesting stuff. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah. I did like that, but I did all every time I read it, I thought, Judge wouldn't put up with that. He's a vigilante. That's all I kept thinking. And there's another thing. Judge Dredd, Dredd 3D, the movie. There's 2 parts in it. To me, were the only 2 parts that were not Judge Dredd. Can you think about what those 2 parts were?
Wait. What movie?
The Carol of Bane movie. Not the Judge Dredd, the Dredd 3D. There was 2 parts in it. I thought that was not Judge Dredd. Can you think
okay. First part, the yes. Thing that jumps out a million miles away, the corrupt judges. Hated that.
Yes.
That was like, wait a minute, judges are incorruptible. That's what makes them so cool.
Yeah, exactly. And it's for 1 million credits. Oh, really? And the 4 of them just roll up. The 4 of them roll up. There's basically the ID for the bullets. We know all that. Yeah, they're quite happy to shoot somebody in the head.
It was a really stupid addition. Second thing you hated, let me think. Well, again, the costume annoys me. I like the helmet. I mean, I don't like the Lawgiver either. I don't like Mega City 1. It really only comes together when they get closed off in the building.
See, those are bits that annoyed me. I'm quite happy with the being annoyed because, yeah, I knew they tried to do something different, tried to do it a bit in the cheap. So they basically tried to make it look as if it was nowadays, but it's meant to be the future. It was how you did it.
But listen, I mean, they could have done it cheaply. Have you ever seen what's that? Hardware, the movie based on the Future Shock.
I think I have actually, yes.
Right. So that was done on no budget whatsoever, with a much more convincing Mega City 1.
I saw that.
And for God's sake, like nowadays they can do the whole thing on green screen. Look at Judge Minty. Judge Minty, the entire Mega City 1 is green screen. Looks fantastic.
It does. And even the Lawgivers. Look,
yeah, everything looks great.
And the Lawmasters, those bikes just looked superb. I wanted to it was how he dealt with Mama. What would Judge Dredd have done?
I can't remember what Mama. I can't remember what he. What
he gave her slow-mo and then threw her out a window.
Yeah, that wasn't Judge Dredd at all.
That was the Judge. He's thrown out a window. I can understand because
but drugging her. Well, what's that? That's not in the law.
Exactly. He basically doing something illegal to do it. That wasn't Judge Dredd. The other part I thought was when he was beating up Kay to get the confession or to find out why they were getting attacked. That wasn't Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd would have just used intimidation. He wouldn't have beat him up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I don't think they're aware of really. I just don't think they believed in the character as much. But here, okay, this is Judge Dredd. Do you remember the story? Oh, was it Colors and Queens of the Art Fungus? Where they're all like, they got this like weird space on the screen, and they're like, "Well, Judge Dredd, you don't understand it. It's itches so much." He says, "But I got it too." He's like, "Well, why aren't you scratching?" He says, "Because it's against regs." That, And he's like,
and that story also. Remember the story about the pustules popping all over. That's another one that shows what judges are. Remember the judge? It couldn't actually diagnose it. What did he do? He infected himself, knowing fine well there was no cure.
Right, exactly.
And actually to diagnose it, and he couldn't, and he ended up dying. But that's to me what judges are, not these four corrupt ones. And I suppose they sort of went down a different route. You look at the Judge Dredd, the Sylvester Stallone one, corruption at the top. At least they didn't do that with corruption with the chief judge.
Right.
By the way, I'd slightly different, but it was still the same again. The judges, the four judges corrupt, and so any criminal knows them, so they just phone them up.
I have to tell you, the more I think about it now, if I'm going to watch a Judge Dredd movie, it's going to be the Stone one. I think like Maximus Snyder who was it? Was he Fargo?
Fargo, he was. Max von Sydow was Fargo.
Yeah, he was great as that.
He was really good. The only thing is, there was a judge. Was it Judge Silver? The guy who played Judge Silver, wasn't he Judge Silver? Because you remember Judge Silver in the comics.
I love Judge Silver, who Judge Dredd gets to shoot himself. Right? Yeah. They get Judge Silver used to be the head of the
SGS
Academy. Right, and then
who was in charge of SGS? Was that not Judge Silver?
Cal was in charge of the SGS, right? And that's how. So Judge Silver was like one of the top lieutenants in the Judge Cal war, right? And he became chief judge from that. But then the Sobs got him, and they like brainwashed him, right, to be a. That's that great issue. My first issue when he goes in and executes Chief Judge Griffin. And I didn't know the character, but I knew it was the heaviest thing ever. Right? It was like, I sentenced you to death. And they said, "You're never going to use me in the same way." And
he turns a gun on himself.
Right. Oh man, that was good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Stuff like that would be absolutely amazing. Do you know I was having a fun watching? I was watching Quarter Black Garrett. Did you see him playing his Judge Dredd game?
No, I'm going to see that.
The thing is, I've played that game. He did a hell of a lot better than I did. That was his first attempt at it, and he did it a lot better than I did.
Doesn't it amaze you the lack of Judge Dredd gaming on every platform? It just on merchandise in general. There's been two very good figures which are expensive. You had the 3A 12-inch one, which was like you can't. That's an expensive one. My wife got it for me as a birthday present, and it was that's exactly the same one as I got. I got one just like that.
Yeah, visor down at the bottom rather than the full. It means it's the classic one. It's got the visor, which is clear visor at the bottom, whereas the modern one is smoked all the way down to the bottom.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And you look at the Carol Urbane one, it's smoked right down to the very bottom, whereas the comic book one is clear half the way up.
Right. I like it being clear halfway up.
I do, because and silly enough, when I first made mine, I made one before I got one. I tried to actually make the Zs clear, but it didn't work. It just looks stupid.
No, you'd have to make them reflective white or something.
Exactly, it didn't work. It just didn't work.
Never mind.
Getting a new visor for it.
If you ever want to do that in a movie, I guess you'd have to CGI them on.
Yeah, because the comic book made them look great because they basically were meant to represent the glint of light from it.
Right. Yeah, and it's supposed to break it up a little bit as well.
Yes, that's exactly it. But that's what the Zs on the helmet were. I know a lot of people at the time were saying it was to represent this Nazi symbol. Because they were fascist, but it wasn't. It was to represent the light shining off the visors. That's what it was. But I remember people at the time saying it was to represent how they were a fascist organisation. Well, yeah.
I mean, the fun thing is they were, and then they got nicer over time.
Yeah. See, I would love to see something like this. The Sylvester Stallone outfit was better than the Carol Urbane motorcycle outfit. I can understand why they went for it because for ease of use. I would have preferred if they had the onesie type thing like the Sylvester Stallone had, the zip thing, and they just talked about how this was a very special Kevlar, but it needed a power source to maintain a bulletproof, and it's all held within the shield and the pad.
Oh, that would have been clever.
That would have actually been, that's why you've got the shield. Nothing else. It's just basically they need somewhere to maintain all the electronics to maintain the Kevlar. And
you know what? It'll be really easy to establish that. You just have them suit up and you see them connect up the cables before they put them, and then you're done, right?
Exactly.
Then it does stuff, right? And they connect that, and you see from the helmet the HUD comes on display, that stuff. Yeah,
but it's not that I think about these things quite a lot.
Oh, we all do. Again, because we love Judge Dredd. We love Judge Dredd.
Because I was trying to get them to they wanted to tone down because they couldn't think of a reason why you would have a big ego and a big pad. And I thought, well, if in the future they might have Kevlar, it needs a power source.
Okay,
why not have it behind an armored part and then just put a design on it?
Listen, every successful comic book adaptation is only successful when it leans into its source material, right? And look, Batman looks stupid. Okay, there's no need for him to have Batman looks stupid. They all look stupid.
Of course they do.
Superman looks stupid. They all look stupid. They did it because they're comic book characters. Let them be comic book characters.
Yeah, let them be great comic book characters.
Exactly. Although, again, my favorite on-screen Batman is still Ben Affleck by a long way.
I'm a classic boy. I basically like the 66 Batman. I must admit, I just love my classic comics and stuff like that. So the 66 Batman's always been my favorite. But then again, I can't imagine 66 Batman turning up in Mega City 1.
Well, here's the thing. I saw this thing on TV in like the late 80s with what's the name from Shine on Harvey Moon, whatever his name is, the guy starred in that, and it was basically Dixon or Doc Green, right? The guy who shot Dixon or Doc Green at the beginning of that movie or whatever is in the van being taken to the police station, and it's like the 1950s. And then there's a 1980s, 1970s, 80s cop show where somebody's in a van being taken, and the two realities swap over, right? And so you've got this very violent current day people in the 1950s, and like these like really timid, like very gentleman-like criminal in the current day, then like being completely like swamped by the corrupt cops.
Yeah. Edward Diaz was a Discworld character, and he was that not the one with that was the Hogfather? I think he was.
Somebody say Archie Connor says Dirk Bogarde. I'm just looking it up right now. Maybe it's that.
What's that?
No, I don't know who that was. Saying Shine on Harvey Moon. I'll tell you who. He was also in the second Hellraiser movie. Shine on Harvey Moon cast. Who was it? What's the name of the guy? Yeah, I'm just looking it up right now. Man, I'm surprised it doesn't come out quicker. Kenneth Cranham. Or Nicky Henson, one of them. They both played him. Now I'm confused.
Yeah. Wait. Dick Bogarde killed George Dixon in the Blue Lamp.
Oh, right. Well done. Yeah. So anyway, like a 1980s version of him and a 1950s version of him, they both swap realities.
Did they not do something very similar to that? Was Pleasantville?
Yeah. Well, that Pleasantville was when
he went into
the real world finds himself in the 1950s TV show. This is imagine a 1980s version of Happy Days and a 1950s version of Happy Days. One's going to be a lot more violent and dark. Oh no, better imagine somebody from the reboot Battlestar Galactica ending up in the classic Battlestar Galactica. If those two people cross over. Right, those very distinct, realities happen.
Yeah. Whereas I love the classic one, and I didn't like at all the new one.
I love the new one.
The thing is, I know why I don't like a lot of the newer stuff is because I don't like nihilism, and I do find a lot of stuff very nihilistic. And I like
that's why I like Battlestar Galactica. I didn't find it nihilistic.
See, I found it
was a reaction to 9/11, like that whole what's it called again, the shock of the shock of 9/11. But it was a real deep dive into like theology, which I really enjoyed, which I thought was really interesting.
Well, considering the classic Battlestar Galactica was right into theology, it basically was doing a lot of Greek mythology, and they had the 9 planets or the 9 sects of the human race, and that was using a lot of theology within the classic one. I thought that was done a lot better because I thought it was a lighter.
Well, I gathered that's why they were doing it.
Yeah. See, it's only for the simple fact is I do like it's the same as my comics. Apart from Judge Dredd, which although it's very violent to an extent, it's not, to me, it's not nihilistic, because I find that it's no matter how bad the situation, you've always got the good guy, the judge, to back.
Yeah, I mean, I just think people have more. I like the idea of having a hero, right? I like Judge Dredd being an unchanging character.
Yeah.
Right. But I just think I like people in general that have more ambiguity.
Yeah, I understand that, but see, with me, that's why it's not so much the ambiguity, it's when it just feels as if it's going. When I look at a story, I want to be rooting on someone. I don't want to get the story and go, so does it matter? I'll give you an example. Everybody told me to watch Breaking Bad.
Right. Yeah, I love Breaking Bad.
Yeah. See, by the end of it, they kept saying, watch the next season, it gets better. Watch the next season, it gets better. See, by the end of it, see, when they all died.
Listen, if you didn't love it at the end of the first episode, don't carry on.
Well, they kept telling me, go on, it gets better, it gets better. So I ended up watching the whole lot. See, by the end of it,
if you weren't liking it the first season, forget it.
Yeah. See, by the end of it, see, when they all died, I was cheering they died. I didn't care about a single one of them. And I think and that's what I'm saying. For me, I can understand why people enjoyed it, because there was parts of the story, even I watched through and through. There was parts of the story that were really good, but they just weren't for me. And that's what I've always said. Just because I don't like it, big deal. It only means I don't like it. Doesn't mean anything else. But it's why I don't like something. I like a story where I know it's got something to root for. Whereas it's the same as a lot of modern movies. They might have a good character in it, but the character has, as you said, it's got no ambiguity. You know exactly what's going to happen. What's the point in watching it? She's going to win. What's the point in watching it? That's not going to happen. Right. And it's that type of thing. So yes, I like Boss Level. That finishes on a very ambiguous ending.
Not only have I not seen it, I don't even know what it is.
Think about, Groundhog Day. Wakes up every morning, repeats the same day, and he has to resolve it. Right. You've seen John Wick. Well, just imagine John Wick is the one that's waking up every morning, and he's got to survive the day. It's very action orientated. It's got comedy in it, but the story at the end, how they break the cycle, they leave it. I'm trying to get this word. Ambiguous. That's the word. Ambiguous. To leave it ambiguous, because you would normally the big MacGuffin. They would do this in the MacGuffin, and then it would either continue the day and it's all sorted, or go back and restart the day and it has to do it elects him to do everything the right way, so he finishes the day. This one, he basically gets to the MacGuffin and it leaves you, and you have to decide how it's ending, which I thought was really good, because Hulu's got two of them have got different versions. It's on Hulu and it's on Amazon. Hulu, the version does something which I thought, nah, I don't like that. Whereas the
I have to say, 1 second. I got to stop pressing to say to Archer Collin here. I think you just nailed it. The black and blue lamp. I was just looking for this thing, trying to work out what it was. Wow, from 1988. You lied, blimey! Did you nail that?
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's why I love the chat, because they always actually come up with the right stuff. It's
I'll read the blurb for you. In 1949, Tom Riley is arrested for the murder of PC George Dixon. As he awaits interrogation at the station, he is mysteriously transported into an episode of The Filth, a 1988 police series where hard men rule. It's from 88. I wonder if I can find that anywhere. Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. Man, okay, listen, dude, it's 11 for me. I'm gonna have to wrap it up because I've got to get up at a crazy time in the morning.
No problem. I'll continue on for a wee while, but Rabbi, thank you very much for joining.
Oh, my pleasure. Listen, anytime you want to geek out about Just Dredd,
definitely. I want to do a bit more each time. I think next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a comparison of the two movies, why I love both of them, why I hate parts of them. Yeah, we're all complex. What we like, what we hate. Here we go. But thank you very much for joining me. It has been a pleasure to meet you, and it's been so good to actually discuss Judge Dredd with a man.
Oh yeah, no, you know what? I didn't realize how much I loved it until you start talking about it. But yeah, I do. I love Judge Dredd.
I do.
Fine. Toodle Pip, thank you for having me on. Everybody like, share, and subscribe. Always good advice. Like, share, subscribe, or you'll be doing 20 in the cubes creeps. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. That was really good. So, guys, I'm going to be finishing up in about 5-10 minutes, but thank you very much for joining us. What I want to say regarding the two movies, the Sylvester Stallone and the Carl Urban, or the Urbane, depends how you want to pronounce it. I say Urbane, but I'm just very Urbane myself. Anywho, the two movies have got good points and bad points. Good points in the Sylvester Stallone one, where Judge Hershey stands, Mean Machine Angel, the Angel Gang, Mega City 1, the ABC Warrior. I preferred the bike there. I preferred the armor, apart from the codpiece, but we'll say less about that. I didn't like about it, I didn't like the fact that Dredd took off his helmet for the whole movie. There was this sort of love interest part between him and Hershey at the end. I didn't like Fergie in it. He just was, comic relief was not fun. And Rico, I wasn't as keen on, because Rico from the comic books is so different from the Rico in the movie. And yes, Armand Asante played it as well as he could based on the shortcomings he had. He's just such a good actor. He did come across as a maniac, but I think Judge Rico was less of a maniac and more crazed. Not a maniac, more crazed rather than that. He understood everything he was saying, as Rico said. You understood everything he was doing, but he came across. They tried to play him as if he was crazy, just the way he was doing it. So they said one thing and did another, whereas the Rico in the thing was just a bad apple, not necessarily a crazy man, just someone who did what he wanted, and he got caught and he got sentenced to 20 years in Titan, which means he had to be all the altered. So the Rico was different. However, the Carl Urban movie was superb, but there was some bits I didn't like in it. I didn't like Mega City 1. Compared to the Judge Dredd movie, the Dredd Mega City 1 was mediocre at best. It just looked naff. The Mega Blocks, fair enough, they just sort of stood out, but they're meant to be a mile or so high. Didn't seem so. They just seemed, yes, maybe 10, 15 times bigger than the high-rise flats round about them, but it didn't give the impression of being a mile or so high. The traffic on the roads just looked like modern current traffic, so it didn't actually sort of stand out as being futuristic. And yeah, apart from the buildings, it could have been just now, so they didn't stand out a lot. The armor, I didn't really like that. I can understand why they went with a motorcycle type armor, but it just didn't have the Judge Dredd feel to me. I think if they'd actually, there was a bit, maybe at the beginning, if they'd done a long walk and each of the judges were wearing their, what would you call it? So you've got your street outfit, street judge, and then you've got your ceremonial dress judge's outfit, and maybe that being the comic book one, it would have worked, because then you're saying that this is the outfit they use for ceremonial, so, and then you would have the street ones, which is the motorbike gear. I could understand that, but the fact is they used that and it just didn't do it for me. Carl Urban was fantastic as Dredd. Wasn't as keen on the lawgivers, because to me that's a lawgiver. The one in both the movies don't work for me. I didn't like the fact that Judge Dredd beat up Kay when he was trying to get information out of him. I didn't like the fact that when he was actually sentencing Mama, he gave her slow-mo. Why would a Judge Dredd in particular, commit a crime when he's executing his duty? Just did not work. It just seemed to be petty and revengeful. So I thought, throw him. That was the two parts I didn't really like. not a big Anderson fan, so it didn't bother me, but she was very good in it. And what was her name? I've got it here. So, yeah, she's there. Olivia Thirlby. She did well, considering she's meant to be a rookie judge. So, as a rookie judge, she was fine. As Anderson, nothing like the comic book, but I was never a great fan of Anderson in the comic book, so it worked really well to me. So I think if with the up and coming movie or TV show, if it ever gets off the ground, it's not going to have a lot of Dredd in it. It's going to be all about the subsidiary characters round about him. And I think it's going to take a while to get off the ground because the two movies have shown that their subsidiaries, they're not very high in the public conscience. And it is a niche subject, the future law. So Judge Dredd, hopefully it'll do well. But then again, I'm hoping Wheel of Time will do well. But then again, I don't expect either of the two of them to do well because I think the two of them will be woke as hell. So unfortunately, fingers crossed, everything crossed, but I don't think the cross number's going to be enough. I'm hoping for good, praying for okay, and expecting meh. So, thank you, Rabbi, for joining me tonight, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And thank you guys for joining me. I'm sorry I didn't get to all of my chats, but I was too busy getting caught up on what Rabbi was saying and talking about. We will do more Judge Dredd, and I want to do a review of both movies and do a comparison, not a side-by-side comparison, what each of them worked, what each of them failed on, where I think if you could combine the two, what you would get. And thank you very much. So until next time, remember, I'm not old, I'm classic. And like, share and subscribe, or 20 years in the cubes. PJ Maybe out. And we are